I need to tell you about what might be the strangest mushroom story you've ever heard. And I promise, the deeper we go, the weirder it gets. Picture this. You're having dinner in Yunnan, China. You ordered some stir-fried mushrooms from the local market. The meal is delicious. And then, about an hour later, you notice something absolutely bizarre. Tiny people, like 2 centimeters tall, marching in formation across your table like little soldiers. Now, before you think you're losing your mind, here's the thing. This isn't random. 96% of people who eat this particular mushroom, undercooked, report seeing the exact same thing. Tiny people dancing, marching, grinning, and interacting with real objects around them. The mushroom is called Lanmaoa asiatica, and scientists have absolutely no idea how it does this. If you find stories like this fascinating, make sure to subscribe because we go deep on the strangest things nature has to offer. Now, here's where it gets really wild. This isn't just happening in China. The exact same hallucination has been reported independently across multiple cultures that had zero contact with each other. In Papua New Guinea, back in the 1930s, Western explorers documented what they called mushroom madness. Locals ate a mushroom they called nonda, and afterwards they saw tiny people with mushroom faces teasing them. In the northern Philippines, indigenous communities have their own version. They call it sedzem, and it makes them see their equivalent of little people, different continents, different languages, different centuries, but the same weirdly specific hallucination every single time. Now think about what that means. When people take psilocybin mushrooms, they report wildly different experiences, abstract patterns, emotional breakthroughs, spiritual encounters. But this mushroom does one very specific thing. It makes you see tiny people, consistently, across thousands of years and thousands of miles. So, what's actually going on inside this mushroom? Enter Colin Demnauer, a PhD student at the Natural History Museum of Utah. He's been on a mission to solve this mystery, and the first problem he ran into is shocking. Until 2014, scientists didn't even know which species this mushroom was. It had been sold in Chinese markets for decades, eaten by thousands of people, documented in hospital records, but nobody had done the DNA sequencing. When they finally did, they discovered it was completely new to science. And here's the kicker. It's more closely related to porcini mushrooms, those delicious ones in your risotto, than to any known psychedelic mushroom. This is a completely different evolutionary path to psychoactivity. When researchers ran a full chemical analysis, they found no known psychedelic compounds whatsoever. No psilocybin, no psilocin, nothing we recognize. There is a molecule hiding in this mushroom that modern science in 2025 still hasn't identified. A molecule that's been altering human consciousness for potentially thousands of years. The team is currently feeding mushroom extracts to mice, watching for behavioral changes, then fractionating the extracts to narrow down the active compound. The mice are showing changes, they're getting closer, and it gets even more interesting. References in a 3rd century Taoist text, almost 1800 years old, describe something called a flesh-spirit mushroom. The text says if you eat it raw, you can see a little person and attain transcendence immediately. Not visions, not spirits. A little person. The specificity is striking. So, why does any of this actually matter? Because this mushroom isn't scrambling your brain randomly. It's triggering a very specific perceptual experience. It's like there's a button in your neurology labeled tiny people, and this unknown chemical knows exactly how to press it. If we can understand how this compound produces such a precise hallucination, we might learn something fundamental about how the brain constructs reality itself. What other switches exist in our neurology that we don't know about? There's also a warning worth mentioning. When researchers DNA tested packages of dried mushrooms sold online as Lanmaoa asiatica, they found multiple poisonous species mixed in with no trace of the actual mushroom. So if you're thinking about buying this online, be very careful. You genuinely don't know what you're getting. This story is a reminder that the natural world is still full of mysteries hiding in plain sight. A mushroom sold openly in markets for decades wasn't even scientifically identified until 2014. Its active compound is still unknown. And somewhere right now, in a lab in Utah, Researchers are getting closer to cracking the code. The world is stranger than we give it credit for.